No,
Welcome back to As the Smackdown Turns.
exactly. It needs to have a cool Univision name though. It needs to have a fantastic. I don't know what that would even be, but
You know what? I'm gonna write something and record it in Spanish. It's like
exactly. There's got to be some sort of
Smackdown.
De La Rosa de Vendrieri or like whatever it is, like whatever something beautiful. That's makes it sound more epic. Because like we were just talking, and I know this is bad podcasting. If you watch this like a soap opera, it's pretty great. If you watch this like a wrestling show, you have a lot of questions. But
That is very, very fair.
I'm bearing the lead. Mikey, do your thing.
Thank you, Professor, for that lovely segue. I am all you BC WrestlePod nerds out there, and welcome to another rendition of the Friday Night Faction Reviews, your weekly WWE SmackDown review team. This is the last SmackDown review before we bury ourselves deeply into WrestleMania weekend, so I will reiterate what that looks like at the end of this review, but I am joined this week by the Professor, John.
Hello. I'm still a professor.
Yes, the dynamic duo, the educators,
The educators. Probably not the best ring. Well, not the worst either. That's not terrible. The educators. We just come out with books and clipboards, changing grades.
That is very, very fair.
We start handing AAs out to the audience. You get a degree. You get a degree.
You get a degree.
Fantastic.
No, but in all seriousness, Professor, I'm happy to be reviewing SmackDown with you because I look forward to this every weekend.
Hey, this is fun. Yeah, I miss it.
And to make up for my absence from Dynamite, we got to get it all in the shenanigans in this one.
Yeah, we'll talk a bunch of crap here. This was, and we'll talk about this, and I don't want to talk at length because we got stuff to talk about. The promos are getting better leading towards WrestleMania. We talked about this a few months back. Someone got in the ear over at Smackdown and was like, hey, by the way, we got to coach them up. Some of these aren't quite working. And my opinion, and other folks have other opinions, I think they started taking risks. They're starting to do different things with the camera. They're starting to kind of let the talent write for themselves in a way that's not pretentious or gross, if that makes sense. Like there's some storyline finessing here that was not on SmackDown a year ago when we were knee deep in Bloodline and nobody knew what to do, which kind of permeated everybody's stuff. But right now it kind of, like last week we were talking about, we're kind of back in the Attitude Era. Now we're Attitude Era 2. Like we're in it. But the stories are a little bit, I don't know what it is. Am I crazy? Like you kind of feel the same?
Well, I mean, to be fair, this week has been quite a different feel for the main roster shows. I mean, to kind of share without going into too much detail, me and Professor had a quick chit chat after he caught the final segment of Monday Night Raw this week.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
The Rock beating up Cody Rhodes for like the last 7 minutes of Monday Night Raw. That was wild to watch.
I saw a meme of it, and I saw the Mama Rhodes belt, and I went, wait, what's that? And then someone sent a 30-second clip of Cody getting thrown into a bus. I was like, oh, that's not good. And then I was texting our group chat, and I texted Mikey, like, when did this bloody Cody Rhodes thing happen? It's like, oh, that happened on Raw. Oh.
Let me go watch this real quick.
What? Yeah, I did. I went and dug up the 7-minute sequence. I was like, oh, cool. Seth and Cody clean house. They leave. Oh, this happens. That happens. Oh no. Oh no. So yeah, we have big bad Rock. Like the Rock is Godzilla now. Like just eating faces. So that's underneath all of this SmackDown as well.
Which we'll talk about that in a little bit. But again, we're here to cover the soap opera that is SmackDown. So let's dive in.
It starts with soap opera right off the top. Immediately we're in soap opera land.
I love that we can use wrestling matches to perpetuate these soap opera review stories, but SmackDown kicks off this week after some walk-ins from people coming from, the bus area into the locker rooms and whatnot. But we start off SmackDown proper this week with the tag team match. This sees Kevin Owens and Randy Orton versus the Yes Boys of Pretty Deadly. This was a fun match to open SmackDown.
So much fun. And we talked about this on the Dynamite review, and now it's sort of, we're getting into this competition for talent where competition for ratings place more than we ever have been. I would argue, like it's peaking. I would argue now, this is going to be not quite Monday Night Wars, but this is going to be Team 1, Team 2, Team 1, Team 1A for a while. Throw your big talent out first into a match. You don't need a 30-minute promo. You don't need a 15-minute promo. You don't need a 20-minute recap. Boom, boom. Randy Orton walk into the ring. Let's go. Okay, we're starting with this. This could have ended the night. We started with it. It did set the bar. It didn't set an unobtainable bar like other promotions tend to do, and we talked about that in the Dynamite review, but this was a lot of fun. Again, I stopped taking notes. I was like, okay, we're just going to see mayhem.
And mayhem is exactly what we got. So towards the tail end of this match, both of Pretty Deadly are dealing with Randy Orton by the announcer's table. The ref is trying to pull them off. Meanwhile, Logan Paul comes down to the ring. Kevin Owens is in the ring, and Logan Paul sucker punches KO to knock him out, which then allows Pretty Deadly to slide in and beat Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. So Pretty Deadly pick up the victory.
I loved everything that happens after this, and we'll talk about it for sure. The theater of this was a lot of fun. There's something about the way Logan Paul throws that punch sometimes. And as a stage combat guy, as a fight choreographer and stunt people, you probably already noticed this too. When I teach this, it's sort of, here's how you throw a punch. You don't put your thumb on the inside, you break it. You kind of have this here tucked around. You don't do this because it looks funny. But then there's other people that do this sort of cat bat thing where they sort of throw their arm out and they go meow, and there's this little paw that happens. And that's absolutely what Logan Paul did. He's like, ring, and like hit the beard just enough to make a whiff, and Kevin Owens went, oh god, wow, which is fine. I mean, that's of course better, but sometimes Logan Paul can finesse it. That's a nitpicky thing. It's just something I went, oh, look at the cat bat.
No, you are in the right to nitpick this, because we literally saw Becky Lynch do it so much better on Monday Night Raw when she punched Dominic in the face.
Sure.
This week.
So,
that was fantastic. Go for it.
Go ahead. No. I love watching Pretty Deadly. I miss Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly's so much fun. I love that they hit the slow-mo every time they pose. The audience loves to hate them. We love to hate them. I don't want to jinx them. I don't know how long their career is going to be. If they're a heel forever, beautiful. Like, people still love them for what they're doing. I don't know if they ever need a face turn. They're kind of perfect the way they are. Some great moments in here. There's one or two moments when we got started. I think Randy's still getting used to tag matches, so there was a little bit of like, hey, where are you? Hey, what's this? Hey, what's that? Sort of thing going on. But Pretty Deadly were fantastic. I like the storytelling that happens after this. Like, this was fun. Again, I don't have notes because I was watching the thing.
I was really happy to see Pretty Deadly pick up a win, even if it was an assist, because they've been on a losing streak for quite some time. So
yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned this before, but I loved everything that happened afterwards. So we get a replay of how the match ended. Randy's watching the screen, and then he kind of like in a weird like children's show was like, "Can you help me find Logan Paul?"
It was absolutely Dora the Explorer. Like, where is it? Do you see? There, over there. Oh, it's over there.
Because Randy Orton goes out, the crowd helps him figure out what side of the ring Logan is hiding.
And there's a bunch of kids on that side of the ring who are pointing where he is.
This was fantastic. But then it even got better for me, because Randy Orton pulls Logan from underneath the ring, beats him up a little bit. We don't cut away. We don't have a separate segment. This is a continuous shot as Logan tries to escape through the crowd. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton kind of like try to pinch him into the corner. But then he escapes to run backstage. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens are chasing after him. I swear Logan Paul committed Grand Theft Auto on my television screen, because he stole a car and just went off. as Randy Orton and Kevin Owens just watched him
Yep.
escape in the car.
He
bringing
ran up.
this whole
He just
entire
ran up
match
to some dude,
segment
hit
to an end.
triangle, and took their car. Like there was no shot. It was over.
It was fantastic. I love that WWE now is doing more of these like very sport-centric continuous shots with some of their stuff.
Yeah,
I thought it's fun.
Again, they're taking risks. They're making it different. We see that later on in the episode too. There's some tracking shots now. There's some one shots that are really cool. A cameraman gets barked at by AJ, which we'll talk about when we get there as well. I thought that this was a difficult one shot, and again, we're back in Attitude Era. There's one camera. We're gonna follow you. Go. There was almost a cutaway. There was a little bit of a hiccup at one point, but it was super clean. Like that was fun, and I'm engaged and I'm inside the action of the thing. I think some action movies over edit, and that's a different conversation. We could talk about that. Films that just like to do the shaky cam and cut too much. Let the actors act. And if you look at I don't mean to call them actors. Sorry, wrestling purists. My fault that fell out of my mouth.
No, they are
professionals
actors because they're playing professional wrestling characters, Professor.
And they're okay, as long as that's okay. I'm making sure that's okay. I don't want anyone to be like, they're wrestlers. Yeah. But yes,
I am the boss. I say it's okay,
all
and
right,
haters can step off.
Haters can go away. So it's so much fun to watch that happen, particularly after a good match. In the past, this would have been, I think we came up at about maybe 18 minutes after this whole thing. I'm guessing, I'm not quite sure. There was a time where that would have been 2 promos, 1 intro, and cut to commercial. Like this was kind of an intro, a match with commercial break, plus leading into this, plus with Logan Paul. Oh, it's a great way to start. It was a lot of fun.
It definitely was. And then it got better for me personally, because then we cut to a pre-taped Io Sky promo.
Mm-hmm.
She's getting the Shinsuke Nakamura treatment in the sense that she's cutting these scathing promos in Japanese, which sounds so much more vicious, which good. I love.
So good.
And the whole entire promo just basically states that Io allowed Bayley to be in damage control, and they put up with her, and then patience wore thin, and she has to be put in her place. And I love that Io began this promo as saying that you all hated Bayley, but now you support her because she's the victim in all this.
I love that. See, that's gaslighting correctly, because you're calling out the truth. Like, yeah, I guess you're right. That's how you really manipulate somebody, is you do it like that. At the end of this promo, as we know, Bayley jumps out of nowhere and attacks Io. Throws
fantastic.
Which is, I want to call this out. Throws the lighting equipment, throws a chair, throws some punches. Nobody cares until she tackles her through the camera backdrop. Once she goes through the backdrop, poof, then 50 people run and stop it. They had plenty of time. They let this happen for like 30, 40 seconds, and then everyone went, well, that's too much. Let's get in the middle of this. Io said, I think Io was saying, I hate you?
Yeah.
She was going, I hate you! I hate you! With full Anakin on Bayley. Like, whoa, it sounded much heated. Loved it.
I thought it was fantastic, and Bayley went for blood because I watched this the second time because I thought this was fantastic. But Bayley pushed Io into like the spine of the chair.
Yes.
And then she threw the light on her.
That light got her. That light looked like it hurt.
I heard the glass broke. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, that probably didn't feel good.
The only critique I have about this is before we got to this segment, commentary, we got the still frame of like the fight happening. It's like, we're gonna watch this next. I was like, don't show me what's gonna happen.
I wonder why it's like, we're gonna do this. We have this pre-taped thing, and well, Bayley shows up. You'll see why. It's like, well, why? You didn't have to do that.
In a weird way, it made sense with LA and AJ last week, because we're seeing like camera footage of like not in the ring or anything wrestling related per se, like at the Performance Center or whatnot. But I thought it would have, just a small critique, I think it would have been more effective storytelling wise had you not told me that Bayley was about to jump Io for the whole thing.
Right. Like, I already know how to. Well, I can go either way with that, because even with the way stuff is scripted sometimes, even though I know what's going to happen, if you could still make me surprised and you earn it a little bit, I'm willing to go with you. This one was sort of, at any moment, she's going to jump out, and I know it. I'm like, okay. We're also doing this thing and where the promo's over, and then someone gets attacked. Mm-hmm. And The Rock kind of went meta on it and sort of was like, all right, cut, the show's over. That doesn't mean it's over. It's like, okay, fine. So I get that. You gotta finesse that a little more, I guess. But still fun to watch. I'll watch Bailey and Io attack each other all day.
Oh, this was a fun promo for sure, and I'm still excited for this match happening in WrestleMania next weekend. Holy
Ave Maria!
It's crazy.
It's coming soon,
but it is.
Ugh.
So we cut to commercial. We come back. Nick Aldis is standing in the ring. He talks a little bit how he promised when he took on the general manager position for SmackDown, he wanted to make this show the one that gets talked about all the time, and what better way than to sign some amazing talent, which then prompts him to introduce SmackDown's newest signee superstar in Jade Cargill. You get the glitter bomb entrance with all that glitter falling down with the laser lights. Jade Cargill comes out, and my first note for this is like, her arms are probably the size of my head. Like, she is going to squeeze me like a pimple.
Yeah.
Homegirl's got muscles.
She's probably up there with Raquel and Rhea and a few others that are just, oh no, they're monsters in the gym as well. Like, they're gonna flatten you. I like this promo. I had no problem with it. I thought what was interesting is the promo after, which was sort of calling out the delay in which Jade has taken to get to this point, which I thought was a really cool shot across the bow and like, hey, book the women. What are you doing? That's how I took it, and I thought that was a fun thing.
Fantastic.
What's great with these certain talent, and I don't want to name drop other promotions right now, and this is across all of them, the crowd will cheer for who they want all the time. Like, Jade got called for the rest of SmackDown. Like every match there was a Jade. Like for like, oh, okay, like she's just gonna appear. And one time it worked. I just thought it was great. It was good to see her there. They didn't sit in this for super long. They didn't, milk this to be 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes like they could have. It was great.
And this will not be the last we talk about Jade this episode, so we're gonna wait until we will wait until we get to that part. Which then leads us to backstage with the rest of Damage Control. So Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi. It's mostly Dakota talking how she's getting ready to fight Bianca later. That Dakota Kai is going to, take out Bianca so that way Bianca can stay out of Damage Control business. We'll talk about the match itself because it was really nice, to keep seeing Dakota Kai actually wrestle. But we'll get to that when we get there. So this is the first big nitpick that I have of the evening, and that kind of grinds my gears. Hopefully this leads into something. So Nick Aldis is walking backstage, and we run into our former spooky girls of Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, in which Isla Dawn decided to speak Scottish gibberish. I was like, huh?
I mean, I like Scottish gibberish.
I like Scottish gibberish too, but like, we're presenting them no longer as the spooky girls. Like,
that's what I was more disappointed of. Was sort of like, oh, they're just two mall girls now. No, but they were super cool and scary. Why? And then also part of me, I had to pause it for a second because I was also in my room like cleaning up a little bit. So I was like, wait, is that Isla Dawn?
You're just like, hold up, I haven't seen them in a bit. Let me make sure.
I had a gear shift of like, wait, that's that? Oh yeah, I heard them talk and everything. I was like, oh, okay, that's Isla Dawn. What are we doing? Who and why are we dragging them away? And why are we?
Alba Fire ends up dragging Isla out. So hopefully that means if they're getting repackaged, cool. I want to see them more on my television screen, but yeah. I like them as the spooky girls, but I guess it's.
I miss them. I don't think we've seen them. I have not seen them on the SmackDown for a while.
I think the last time I saw them on SmackDown was when they helped Bianca in that Miracle on 34th Street Christmas fight, like during Christmas time.
Oh my gosh, is that the last time?
I think so. They popped out of the boxes and took care of Kyrie and Austin.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's been a while. I wonder what. I don't know. That's bad booking. Anyway.
So we leave this situation and we're continuously following Nick Aldis when he runs into AJ.
Mm-hmm.
And AJ tells Nick, "Did you tell LA Knight that he's not allowed to be here?" I asked him to not be here. And AJ, there has to be some sort of delay, or AJ forgot his line in the moment and then remembered it, because there was such a weird pause of dead air before he says, "Well, you should have told." You should, instead of asking him, you should have told him not to show up. And then he leaves. I'm like, oh, this was not the way it was supposed to go. I got a good chuckle out of it.
It was kind of funny. I wonder how many times they shot that promo, and Isla Dawn and Fire nailed it, and then AJ just kind of messes it up each time. I think AJ's trying super hard. I don't know. I feel like AJ's been in arcs similar to this for sure, but hasn't had this much work to do in maybe a while. So I think AJ's still adjusting to lines and dialogue and story arc and whatnot. Because as we'll see later, a lot of that got kind of clunky and slow burned, and the timing was not quite where it was. Which, and I'll say this now, we'll reiterate it later, he is in the Bret Hart position to the Stone Cold position, right? Like, he's stuck in that, look at all these things that are happening to me, and you like this guy? Yeah, we do. We don't like you. What do you mean you don't like me? You used to like me. And that, we're back in that early Attitude Era thing again, which is, archetypes repeat. Not to nitpick that to death, but yeah, kind of an interesting, where are we going with this thing?
Yeah, we'll talk about AJ a little bit later. So from here, we get our first of the finals for the six-pack ladder match qualifiers. So this sees Austin Theory and Grayson Waller taking on the Street Profits. Before the Street Profits make their entrance, we cut backstage real quick, and Bobby Lashley and B-Fab are hyping up the Profits, telling them to go out there and get that spot. The Profits come out. I still miss this reigning solo cups.
I do. Well, because once they went to Suit Profits, they got rid of that, and now they're Street Profits again. Where the cups, man?
I miss the cups, but that's okay. So they come down to the ring. We get about maybe 5 minutes into this match before the big old Titantron rears its head into the match, because then the match is going. 5 minutes have passed, and then up on the Titantron, we see a beaten down Bobby Lashley and B-Fab lying on the floor. And then we see Rocker-esque Karrion Kross, because he was dressed in leather pants and he looked like he trashed the hotel room.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Him and Scarlett beat up B-Fab and Bobby Lashley, which is good on Scarlett. But
yeah.
But this Karrion Kross was so incoherent in this part. Is like, what? Huh? Wait, what?
Yeah, because you're missing the party. Party looks like it already happened. What?
Or did you get plastered on television?
Kind of I see what they're doing. I kind of wanted more. I wanted a better ending, because they earned a better ending the way this match went. There was some great stuff in here. I mean, I could watch Montez do fancy shit all day. Sorry, editor. Fancy stuff all day. Beautiful. I loved the close-up of Corey Graves getting destroyed at the table, and the last second getting his hands up to catch. I think that was Austin goes to the table out of nowhere, like, oh my god. That was a cool thing. They went to the outside well. They had showed off all their strengths. I kind of like this Grayson Waller Austin Theory tag team. At first, it was sort of an arbitrary thing, and I'm sure the Andrew had those opinions, and I probably agree with everything Andrew would say, but it's growing on me as, we're just two beautiful jerks taking on the world, and I'm like, okay, I buy that. All right, fine. I feel like the Street Profits are kind of stuck in this limbo of what are we doing, what are we not doing with this Bobby Lashley faction fighting Karrion Kross and the two massive AOD dudes. I just wanted a bit more of a payoff here. So this is really just the match itself was fun to watch. The storyline and booking of it, I'm a little I want more, because I kind of Karrion Kross is growing on me. I just wish they made him I missed. Sorry, tangent. I apologize. What was that? 8 months ago, where we had that Karrion Kross end of the world bunker Karrion Kross,
Yeah.
and we had one or two of those promos where we're like, that sounds crazy, and we never
Here for it.
It just kind of faded away. I was sort of wanting like old school Street Fighter M Bison Karrion Kross. Like, I'm going to take over the world. This is my faction. We are, militaristic, whatever. We live in a bunker. And now it's kind of not.
I know. But like I said, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory are going on to the WrestleMania ladder match, which then proceeds to what happened afterwards. Right. Karrion Kross and AOP come out to destroy the Street Profits. Bobby Lashley being held back, kind of, by the refs to come out.
You're not holding Bobby Lashley back.
No, so a brawl breaks out. Bobby Lashley gets beat down yet again.
Yeah.
And the final testament stands tall at the end of this. This has to be leading to a 6-man at WrestleMania, or at least on SmackDown at least. Like, this is the direction we need to be heading.
I think it might end up being a SmackDown or something happens at WrestleMania thing, because right now none of them are on WrestleMania, and they're even commenting on it now, which is interesting. It's like, you're missing WrestleMania again. It's like, oh wow. I don't know. I kind of want more out of this final testament. I'm confused by that logo because it's just like they misspelled 2 letters and threw it on a shirt. It doesn't look like they combined them. It's just kind of like FT random. Like what? But I'm glad Ellering's getting word. I don't know. I hope this comes to fruition. I feel like there's so much underneath. I want something payoff. Give me the payoff.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this leads to some sort of payoff, because we've been kind of dragging this out for the last few weeks or so.
A while.
Between these two.
A long while.
Months.
They've slow burned this for months.
This needs to result in a 6-man, or if you guys are going to, just give me a street fight. Just give me.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
Just have a street fight, because regular matches don't seem to work for anyone. So let's just throw all the weapons out there and fight.
Go street fight. Go full concessions match. Throw mustard and relish at each other. Go full horror movie. We're fighting over a belt that doesn't exist match. Give me something crazy. Come on.
I love that. That'd be fantastic. So we move on from this. We come back from commercial. Legado is in the ring now. They walk down to the ring. They are introduced. We have a short little in-ring segment with Legado. So Santos gets on the mic. He talks about how he's very thankful about a certain someone helping him last week. Then prompts Dominic Mysterio to come out. And I love, whether it's on Raw or on SmackDown, Dominic still gets booed out the building.
I love when the audience doesn't let him talk, and then Dom fishes to make it worse. It's perfect.
So good.
It's so good.
Which, this whole segment before being interrupted, Santos just thanks Dominic. Dominic's just like, you're great. I hate my deadbeat dad. Like,
to the point where Dom is laughing underneath this whole thing. You can see him like, oh my god, they hate me. Like,
he's embraced it. It's fantastic. Yeah. Which then prompts Santos to yell at the audience, basically telling them, you guys are dumb in believing in Rey Mysterio, and we're gonna take. I've took care of him, so we are. And then prompt, being interrupted by all of LWO. So the whole faction comes out. So Zelina Vega, Joaquin Wilde, Cruz del Toro, Carlito, Rey Mysterio, everyone comes down. So we have the whole squad facing off against Legado del Fantasma. And so here I'm sitting here thinking, cool, we're gonna have a faction versus faction match. I'm here for this. Let's go. I'm like, finally, we're getting here. And then Ray's like, you know what? I need to beat the respect into both of you. I'm like, okay, I can get behind this. And so how about this? Santos, you and Dominic team up to face me and a partner of my choosing at WrestleMania. I'm like, okay, cool. Tag team match. I'm here for this. And so I'm looking around. I was like, okay, maybe Ray and Carlito, right?
Sure.
And then Dominic proceeds to run down everybody in LWO. And I was just like, oh, it's not going to be Carlito, is it? And then Ray does the thing where he's like, we have a new member to LWO. And cue Dragon Lee, whose music coming out as soon as Ray said it's Dragon Lee. So Dragon Lee is in LWO. Carlito's face, though, I was like, he was not happy when Ray said Dragon Lee's name. And all I can picture is, that meme that's been making its way around the internet of like the girl walking past and the dude is looking behind holding his girlfriend's hand or whatever. This is this is how I was like, this is the meme that Ray has every time he gets new tag team partners. He can't just be happy with the ones he gets. He did that with Edge, he did that with Carlito, and now he's doing this with Dragon Lee.
I think they might be playing that up. I buy that for sure.
That's funny.
I think that's really sort of like, who's this guy? Ray on the mic has not been as solid the last 6 months or so, and I'm not sure if he's rushing stuff or if his heart's not in the promo side of it anymore. I'm replaying it right now. Carlito definitely disappointed and not happy to be there. I love the faction thing, don't get me wrong. This feels a little shoehorned in there. Just sort of, hey, let's get Dragon Lee in there, because we know Triple H loves factions, so we've seen Dragon Lee twice. Get him in a faction. Like, oh, okay. I think it'll be a good match, though. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I have a good time watching Dragon Lee, so I got no problem with that. What I am happy to see, and I called for this a while ago, we're starting to see the Judgment Day dissipate ever so slightly, which we'll talk about that promo in a minute. And I've been calling for this. The Judgment Day itself, we're kind of holding each other back in this faction now. Because you did so well so long, you have nowhere to go. And it's not necessarily break up the Judgment Day. It's, we now got to find these cracks and fissures so that these characters can flourish elsewhere. And then maybe you have a chance to flip them face like you've wanted to do for so long. And then get that sort of momentum out of there. Maybe not the Dom, but we'll see what happens. And then, like back in the 90s, a fight kicks off because I don't want to say it like that. How do I want to say this? Sometimes you have to corral the spicy ones before the spicy ones makes it spicy for everyone.
You could just say it as it is. Like, a fight does break out. The whole entire faction begins to fight.
Because I want to say, I was like, don't let them talk. Don't let them talk. Do not let them talk to each other. Do not let them talk to each other. They're talking to each other. I'm gonna have to hit him. Oh, damn it.
And fight breaks out. It is fantastic. The fight breaks out. So we haven't gotten an official graphic yet, but it looks like we are going to get Santos and Dominic versus Dragon Lee and Ray, which I'm here for. I think the match is going to be great. Yeah. I wish that we hadn't squashed Dragon Lee for the last couple of weeks to get to this point, but
Yeah, we kind of did.
I was just like, okay, that's fine.
Oh, that's right. And he had that 30-second match just last week. That's right.
And I'm going to be very upset. I'm going to be very upset if Carlito turns on Ray and Dragon Lee at WrestleMania. I'm like, no, not another one.
That would be...
Heel Carlito is cool and all, but like...
That would be sad. I hope not. Well, because it's been a year since Backlash, I guess, right? Or not even that. Since we got the big return. Yeah. But why turn on LW? But why, though? If him and Santos handle this heat, I don't know. I hope not. I agree with you. I hope not. I hope that's not what they're hinting at. That'd be sad.
Yeah, I would be very upset, but we shall see what happens with that. Again, that is my phrase for a bunch of this, but waiting and see is the only thing we can do at this point.
Right.
Which then leads us quickly backstage with Naomi and Bianca Belair hyping each other up, which is the basis of this promo. So I'm cool with that. Naomi has the EST in her hair now.
I couldn't. I was thrown back to the films of my youth. A classic called Cool Runnings, where one is saying to the other, words I can't say, but just pumping each other up, which is kind of a cool moment. So, it was fun. It was nice to see them, because they were hinting at stuff that's going to happen later. I see why this is there.
Yeah. So, this was a short backstage segment with our girls, which we'll see more of them later, which then leads into the second first, we get a little thing with the Judgment Day, as you were mentioning before. Tensions are building, cracks are starting to form, and Damian Priest says the thing is just like, everybody's been doing well individually, so does anyone have anything they want to say? I'm like, I was like, the breakup is beginning!
Uh-huh.
Like, finally.
Well, Damien's saying, "Does anyone have anything to say?" And then Rhea calling him out in a beautiful way because she might be one of the better actors in all of WWE canon right now because she can just dial in and breathe and drop a line and sell it. I don't know. It's either a breakup to make a return time from now, years from now, or it's sort of a how do we face turn them to get more out of them? But you have the Dom problem. You can't turn Dom face because Dom is hated
right now. But eventually, when they decide to turn him face, that thing is going to be a huge pop.
Oh, he's gonna. It'll be. I wonder what it would take, and that's for a different podcast. But it would have to be something huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ray retiring or Ray injured into retirement or something.
It has
ridiculous.
The way that Dom is going to turn face, it has to involve Ray in some capacity.
Oh sure, yeah. It's just
literally the goal is, and we all can see this. The goal is for Ray to pass the torch to Dominic in some capacity.
Right.
So when that moment comes,
it's going to be some sort of Dom v Santos for something, or it's going to be some sort of.
The other option too is because Dom has been kind of talking to Andrade on Raw too. So
were you gonna say he's been flirting with Andrade? Is that what you were gonna say?
Flirting around with the term that
Oh, how's that for a face turn?
we are talking about the soap opera that is SmackDown, and I mean you got all the spicy listen, we got 2 whole factions of Latinos and Latinas, and then you have Andrade over on Raw. So I was like, we get the spicy Latinos up in here.
Which, Andrade is I am an Andrade. Those are my grandparents. So, I'm just saying. That gives me no cred whatsoever. I'm just saying it out loud. Sorry, Mikey, go.
Listen, the professor is an honorary Latino.
We've talked about this. Thanks for kind.
It's so fantastic. So, we get our second qualifying match, Legado del Fantasma versus New Catch Republic, so Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. This match was also very fantastic.
That's so good.
And probably this was my favorite my match of the night just because of how much fun I had.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm biased as hell, but I don't care. Most of this goes because I was like, Tyler Bate is just so good in this.
Tyler Bate just does yoga positions and calisthenics in the middle of the match just because he can. I can't. Of course, we're great with Phantasma too. There's some great spots in here for sure. Go check it out. I tend not to pick matches of the night because I could go either way with a handful of them. But this one is right up there with Kevin Owens and Randy and
what? Instead of match of the night, we'll just talk. How much fun did we have? I had a blast watching this.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun watching this one. And Tyler Bate can do anything. And even when I'm like, no, I've seen him be strong, all of a sudden Tyler Bate does something that I'm like, oh my God, I haven't seen him be that strong before. What are you talking about?
It's like, I swear he's listening through the television.
Yeah, it's like, are you listening to me? That beautiful gymnast style toss over thing. I'm going to get my legs straight. And I'm just going to let you throw me. And like the air and camera shot of that was just, the stuff Tyler Bate can do.
He is our little strong boy.
Yep. I don't know if I get the whole Pete Dunne being so stoic and angry at him all the time thing. I don't know if I hate it or like it, or if they're trying to lead it someplace else. But part of me is like, crack a smile, man. You won. Why are you so mad? But if that's just the thing.
What I'm thinking is probably happening is they're trying to, and might be me projecting, but I think with New Catch Republic, they're trying to recreate the magic because Pete Dunne was a similar thing when him and Matt Riddle were a tag team.
Okay.
Like,
sure.
You have the happy-go-lucky, like, goofball that is Matt Riddle paired with the very stoic Pete Dunne. So Tyler Bate is kind of taking on that role for Matt Riddle in this case.
Sorry. They dropped the commentary said it was a burning hammer at the end. I thought a burning hammer was on the head and neck. Is that a burning hammer? Or am I wrong?
It could be. I think it's a modified version because
the actual
not to bring up other promotions, but TNA Trent Seven does something similar, and I mean him and Tyler Bate were literally a tag team in NXT UK before close its doors, sadly.
Because those old school burning hammers from the 80s and early 90s are like, you're gonna kill a man. Don't do that.
So I'm assuming it's a modified version
I'm
of
guessing
it.
so. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
But I had a blast watching this. New
Super
Catch
fun.
Republic are moving on to the cluster Chuck, because I'm not trying to curse on here.
Man.
Okay, really quickly, let's go through this. This is gonna be 6 tag teams in this ladder match. There are 12
servings of man meat in one ring.
12 men in that ring. So you have the Judgment Day, the New Day, DIY, Awesome Truth. You have Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, and you have New Catch Republic. Like, this match is gonna go bananas. And what I actually kind of like about this match, the really only big hoss you really have in this match really is Damian Priest. He's your big guy. Everybody else is average or tiny. And I was like, oh, we're about to go flying off these ladders, because I'm looking around. I'm like, you have a bunch of acrobatic and high flyers up in here, as well as your like gymnast specialist type of wrestlers.
I think what's interesting, I'm glad you say that. There's a lot of, like, if you were looking at cheer, like, these are a lot of the pillars and bottoms that hold all the other folks up, and they're all good at it. So this has the potential for folks flying everywhere. Sort of.
There will be bodies flying on and off these ladders.
Bodies flying off a ladders, or from ladder to a ladder. I don't know, man. Yeah, you're right. Damian Priest is obviously the tallest one there. But you also got Finn, Pete, and Tyler, who I'm sure are just ready to
They're going to wreck house. Bring that European style of wrestling in there. I'm excited to see Kofi and Xavier just fly all over the place. DIY fly all over the place. Grayson and Austin are going to get their butts whooped, and that'll be hilarious to watch.
I've not seen enough Xavier Woods on my TV. I miss Xavier Woods so much.
So happy we're getting that WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I'm excited. This is going to be a chaotic match, but I'm here for it.
Watch that be the one for the 2 days that everyone likes, and everything else is just meh.
Please
don't be true.
That is a possibility, but we're going to remain optimistic, because we're probably not going to find out until next week which matches are on which nights. That's the other thing. The only thing we are sure of is what we're getting for our main event on night 1, and then what's main eventing night 2. But since we're talking about that, our main event for night 1 is that tag team match with Cody and Seth versus Roman and Rock, which leads us to a quick recap of what we got on Monday Night Raw, with The Rock beating the ever-living tar out of Cody Rhodes. The cinematic, beautiful masterpiece. I'm like, this is the wrestling I can get behind.
It looked good. I wonder if the Rock showing up and doing these, like, he demanded cameraman and Hollywood type stuff.
I mean, he's currently in Hollywood Rock era again, so.
Yeah, there's just a certain way the stuff is shot and cut together, even. I don't want to say The Rock is here to change things, but, we kind of give Triple H credit for moving things forward and booking other things, since he who shall not be named has left. But there's a certain way the Rock works as well, as far as scripting things, like, to a T, and sticking to those, but then kind of reinvesting in that script like an actor would, and Hollywood style stuff like that would be. So it gets really, not that he doesn't improvise or say things off the cuff, but I said all that to say this: they've gotten better, and they're way more cinematic and engaging, like you were saying. So I don't know, I'm intrigued. I wonder where we're going.
Well, this leads into a quick backstage segment with the Bloodline and Paul Heyman. So Paul Heyman lets the audience know that all this was on orders of Roman Reigns to have Rock go beat up Cody. I'm still thinking Rock and Cody are working together, but I will only be told that I'm right or wrong at the end of WrestleMania Night 2.
Crazy would that be?
It's nuts. Which then prompts Jimmy to talk about how Roman also doesn't want Jay making it to WrestleMania. So next week on SmackDown, we're getting Solo Sikoa versus main event Jay Uso. And I'm like, oh, Jay's definitely making it to WrestleMania. I'm like, poor Solo's going to eat this loss again.
Yeah.
Solo hasn't won a match since Crown Jewel in November of 2023.
Really?
He beat John Cena, and he has not won a single match since then.
So, yeah.
That's
Solo, Solo's kind of in a tough spot career-wise, I would argue, because he's being used in this Bloodline feud, absolutely. But as far as who are you, what do you do, what are you capable of, it's kind of stuck in the shadows of everyone around him, and I don't know how he feels about being that cog in the wheel for this storyline. Remains to be seen.
But we're getting Solo versus Jay next week on the Go Home show for SmackDown, which we will not be reviewing. Stay tuned to the end to hear why we're not. Thank you for the facial expression.
Why? Tell me why. Yeah.
We move on from this. We have AJ Styles coming down into the ring. We cut to a quick commercial, and when we come back, AJ is in the ring and basically says that he's going to manhandle LA Knight, and he knows that LA Knight is here. So first, he goes after the cameraman, and this poor cameraman did nothing wrong, Angie, but you called him ugly. I was like, in less words, you called him ugly because he's like, you kind of look like LA Knight, which is not saying a lot.
Exactly. Like, you look better than LA Knight, which isn't saying much. It's like, oh, okay.
AJ, why are we lying? I was just like,
angry AJ. And
then they have a random local wrestler like jump the barricade like a crazy fan. Right. Which was fun to watch.
Right. That guy was just happy to get work. The security standing there, he's like, we're going to see that guy in a year or two and be like, that guy, hey!
That'd be so hilarious. Which then prompts AJ to go down to commentary, and he's facing the Titantron so the whole audience can see there's a random security guy right there. But oh no, it is LA Knight in a bad wig.
That was
I loved it though.
It was perfect.
I thought it was great.
And it was just enough. It was just bad enough to be funny. It was just good enough to fool you for about 2 seconds.
I also love that. And I said this earlier about Randy Orton, but I also love this about AJ. I love that SmackDown is allowing the wrestlers to like kayfabe it with the Titantron, be like, I can't see behind me, but oh, I'm looking at the Titantron. And it's LA Knight like taking off his disguise, and it's just like, all right, let's fight.
Super funny. There was a good, I don't know, half a second where I was like, that's a big security guard with the stoic chin. Oh, that's LA Knight. And the crowd the best part of that for me was the crowd noticing, the camera pulling back and the crowd looking, and you see their light bulb first, and then AJ's. Leading up to this, I thought AJ was a little clunky on the mic. It was a little, I don't know if there was a miscue or a hiccup somewhere in there. It wasn't jarring, but it was a little like, where are you going? What are you trying to do? But that's neither here nor there. This was fun. This had an Attitude Era feel to it as well. It was a little more polished. I think AJ running away is hysterical. I think LA Knight choosing to be on the table and not in the ring is also a good choice. I kind of want a WWE security shirt, but I don't know if I'm allowed to wear one. Or if that they even sell those. Because now I'm like, that's kind of a nice. All right, that's kind of cool. This was super great. We're kind of in that. I don't. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, not to rag on the point because we're up against it. We're almost coming up on an hour. You have AJ Styles in that sort of Bret Hart position to antagonize the fans, and you did this, and you cheer for him, and you saw what he did, and I was going to press charges, but I didn't. He shouldn't be going to WrestleMania because he did this thing. This sort of self-righteousness of that character. And LA Knight just feeds the antithesis of that so well. Now I'm seeing the benefits of this feud. Like, that's a long way of me saying that, right? In the beginning of this, we were all kind of like, why AJ? What is this? You kind of buried the OC. You kind of, LA Knight has nowhere to go. They've turned this into something now. They kind of walked that fine line. I think Luis was talking about this a year ago, and then you and I had a conversation about it as well. You don't want LA Knight so far over that all of a sudden it peters out. And you don't want to bury a guy or throw him in the mid-card so he flounders. You kind of walk that line. And so far they have. Right before we started recording, LA Knight posted on his Instagram a photo of him 20 seconds of him backstage just drinking a coffee. and everyone kind of looking at him like, what are you doing dressed up like that? It's a really good shot.
I mean, we're continuing to build this feud with the match that is going to be happening at WrestleMania, which I'm excited for. I think it's going to be a fun time. So, yeah, I think this was fun. It was a little, AJ was a little clunky on the mic, so I'm still excited for the match. Then leads us into a quick pre-taped video segment for Tiffy Time, Tiffany Stratton, which I thought was fantastic. She's like, it takes a lot of work, and the weight of the world is on me to be this pretty type of promo. I was just like, yes, give me the old-fashioned, like,
that quote about glitter in my veins, and I was like, if there's glitter in your veins, you
need to go see a doctor.
Yeah, you might be dead. Like, that's not good. This is now to plug other things that we do here on the Biconics and or the Vibe Tribe. If you know one Connor Watson, who's on a handful of the D&D Let's Plays here, someday hear his story about glitter and how it caused a rare type of pneumonia in his body and how he was coughing it up for months. It's a good story. You're laughing through the pain, and he tells it in a good way.
It is fit. Oh my goodness, it's hilarious.
Have you heard that story? Did he tell you that glitter story?
I think I did. Yeah, he did tell me the story.
You see his face change. It was like, hey, it was something glitter, and he just kind of goes, yeah, and just changes completely. It's great. I miss that guy. I haven't seen him in a while. But yes, continue. Yes.
It is. So Tiffy Time is here. I love this promo. It was fantastic. We get bumpers of what's happening next week. And then we get to our main event, Dakota Kai versus Bianca Belair. This was a 7.5 minute match. I thought this, yes, I wish it went longer, but for the time they got, though, I forgot how vicious Dakota Kai's kicks can be, and they were on full display here. My favorite move from Dakota this whole match was that scorpion kick, beautiful scorpion kick she did to Bianca. I was like, oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah, running her knee into that barricade once or twice. Corey Graves, I think, called it once a moment before it happened. Like, oh, she's going to hit her with the net. And then paused, and then it happened because it was right behind it. Not that it was scripted that much, but kind of anticipated it. Bianca looked a little off to me in the first half of this. I wasn't sure if it was... I don't want to say it was miscues. I think she was a little stuck in her head. Like, what are we this? What are we that? Where are we this? Where are we that? But she recovered really well from that after that. It was a great match. I don't know the last time I saw Dakota Kai in a singles match. And I think it's been a minute, at least for me on the Smackdown. I haven't seen her in a while. But yeah, like you said, like it was violent, it was fun. Someday this will never happen. I would love to ask Bianca what it's like to have her hair pulled. Because, man, it's become a crutch for everyone. Is just gonna yank her hair at some point, like, and have it so tight that it's not coming out of your skull, like, oh my goodness. Which we had in here, right? Dakota Kai grabs her by the hair, pulls her off the rope and into that flip thing, which was just super fun to watch. They went back to the middle rope head slam thing 3 or 4 times in a row, and I was sort of concerned, like, do you know where you are we just doing that because you called it? But that's just nitpicky. This was fun to watch. I had a blast.
And I like that this match actually got the full way all the way to the end without Damage Control interfering.
Yeah,
which is nice to see, because technically Dakota had a singles match against Bailey, but that ended in a DQ because of Damage Control. But Bianca Belair hits the KOD for the win.
Mm-hmm.
The celebration is short-lived, however, because Bianca gets attacked by Damage Control.
Yeah,
and then
the music Naomi, plays 2 seconds, and then everyone runs in.
Everyone runs in. It's like a 3-on-1 situation. Naomi comes out to try to even the odds. The number, it works for a little bit. Bianca and Naomi are able to kind of hold their own, but then again, it's still 3-on-2. But then, what I wanted to happen is happening. Jade's Cargill's music hits, and she knows she is that girl. She just walks down to the ring. She doesn't even run. She just was like, I don't need to run, but you better be ready because I'm about to throw all these hands.
The moment
I love that Corey sold it too. It's just like she doesn't have to run because she knows how powerful she is. I'm like, exactly.
The moment Damage Control appeared, you start hearing the Jade chants. Jade, Jade, Jade. Like they know. Like the crowd just knew or was trying to will it to happen. I kind of felt Naomi got done dirty in the middle of this. Like Naomi went out and she kind of had a moment, and then we got to Jade faster, which is fine, but I kind of and I know we're up against it, and I know this is the last segment. You only have a 7-minute match with a commercial. I get it. I want a little more from Naomi's here. It's over. Like it was that fast for her, but we got to get to Jade, right? We got to get her in there.
So Jade walks into the ring and she cleans house. She gets rid of Dakota. She gets rid of Asuka. Kairi tries to go in, and then Jade hits the Jaded, her finisher, on Kairi, and then Damage Control run and scatter towards the entrance ramp. So we see Team Damage Control versus Team what I am dubbing until I'm told their official trio's name of Black Girl Magic. Because
is that their name, Black Girl Magic?
No, I want it to be those.
Oh, okay.
Like honestly, I would be cool if they wanted to call themselves. I don't know if WWE would go with it, but this is Team Black Girl Magic.
I mean, I kind of like seeing three sisters staring down the rest of the roster, like, ooh, it's coming. Oh no. which I would be here for a short little stint as a faction. And then Naomi going full hype, by the way, in the back.
Yes.
Like, yeah. I was like, that's great.
She's the one girl who took off the hoop earrings. It's like, let's go.
Oh, so good.
But what makes me even more excited is not long after the show goes off the air, Nick Aldis hits the WWE social media and breaks the news that at WrestleMania, it's going to be Jade, Bianca, and Naomi taking on Dakota, Asuka, and Kairi. And I'm like, I'm actually really here for this match. I'm sad that Asuka still can't get a win at WrestleMania, but
yeah,
I'm actually really excited about this, especially since this will give Jade her first win in WWE and a big one on the grandest stage of them all at WrestleMania.
And she can showcase what she does, which she kind of did, but like working with those three, she can get away with a lot because they're tiny and Jade can lift heavy objects. So I think this might be another example of people flying because they're tossed one way or another. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Bailey appearance. I wouldn't be surprised if there's an interference in some way. And then we create faction because we know Triple H likes doing that as if it was, a Warhammer game. But I appreciate it. I that's the right call. Like they built that pretty well. Granted, I would have loved to see Jade a month ago or a little while ago, like really tearing it up and whatever else. But to get her debut WrestleMania, I think that's smart. That works.
No, and this was a fun way to end the show. So, Professor, we've reached the end of Smackdown this week.
So much to talk about.
Let's rate this thing, and then we got to go into all the news that has happened.
Every time with Smackdown, we're always like, all right, let's get through this in like 30, 40 minutes. It's an hour every time. Jeez. I am torn because the things that I wanted a little better weren't enough for me to change it. But I hesitate to give Smackdown such a rating going into WrestleMania. But I kind of got to do it. This is in that 8.8, 8.9, 9 place for me. It's a high 8. I hesitate to say 9 because I don't want it to seem biased that all of a sudden I'm handing 9s out when I've never done that before. But the promos that were here were hit. They were tight. We talked about the nitpicky things that I had here and there. We're doing something different with Judgment Day. We're doing something different with LWO. We're doing something with this. What'd you say? Black Girl faction? Black Magic faction?
Black Girl Magic.
Black Girl Magic. Yeah, I think Black Girl Magic could be a blast. I like how that's going. That LA Knight hiding as a security guard thing was fun for me. That was a good pop from the audience. And the matches were all good. There were no matches here that I was like, ooh, that was rough, or ooh, they got hurt, or I wasn't feeling that. Just tiny, things because we watch it so much. So this is definitely, I'm gonna be that teacher. I'm gonna give you an 8.9. I'm gonna be that teacher. It's the highest of B's ever. It's almost an A. It's right there.
No, I'm totally gonna agree with you as the second teacher here.
Really? Okay, good.
I'm also gonna give this a 8.9 because I thoroughly enjoyed the SmackDown, and now that SmackDown has kind of found its rhythm of what it wants to be in terms of its identity, now that we're not just focusing on the bloodline just for like 95% of the show,
Sure.
I am enjoying SmackDown, and I mean this comparison in the best way possible. If we're gonna have Monday Night Raw be your flagship show, so to speak, as I put in air quotes, let SmackDown be the main roster equivalent to like a Collision and Rampage for another company. Because all the fun stuff for me happens sometimes on Dynamite, but it always happens on Rampage and Collision, where all the fun stuff happens. So let SmackDown be the fun place for main roster WWE. You can still tell good stories, but also it should be a place of fun.
Yeah.
Then have Raw be your 3-hour like soap opera if you want to. But honestly, I'm enjoying the soap opera more on SmackDown.
And I think that's kind of the thing. Like, and we've talked about this too. Like on Raw, all the matches were great, but the promos were meh. But that's where the talent was after the draft, which doesn't matter. And we haven't had one. We haven't had a draft, have we? Like we didn't do it like we did this time last year.
I hope we don't have another one because you and JPL wasted 2 whole days of our summer watching those drafts, and then it meant nothing in the long run.
And it didn't matter. And then everything got bought and changed anyway. So we got to stop this or completely flip it on its head. I think if SmackDown should be your sort of character development soap opera. Mm-hmm. Throw the talent that can act a little more, can lift a little more text or heavy weight with scripts, and go for it. Little more film things here and there. If Raw's your marquee 3-hour every Monday night for the last, coming up on 30 years, then okay, make it that epic thing. But SmackDown if this is what SmackDown is for the next few months or weeks, WWE's in some good shape. That's great to hear.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this SmackDown. So, well, Professor, we did it. We made it to another end of review here. So, before we sign off, I'm going to reiterate. So, by the time this video goes up, because I'm going to be posting it, this video is going to go up on our regular scheduled time. So, we're recording on a weekend. So, this won't see the light of day until Tuesday.
Ugh.
April 2nd.
Jeez.
So, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for tuning into the SmackDown review. Now, please stay tuned for the next couple of minutes as I run down one more time what to expect this week.
Yeah.
So, as mentioned at the end of the TNA review, this week we will be having 3 of our regular shows be reviewed. So, the Monday Night Raw will be having a review. Me, Minnie, and Luis will be reviewing the Go Home Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania 40. Then the following day, so that video is going to be out, funny enough, on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, the NXT video review will go live as me, Andrew, and Will be covering the Go Home show for NXT before Stand and Deliver.
Yeah.
And then Friday morning, the regular Just Us 3 Gents, me, Professor here, and JVL will be reviewing Dynamite, though it doesn't have any consequence to the rest of the weekend because Dynasty's not for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Well, 3 weeks, I should say, so it's going to be here a lot quicker.
Dynamite will be the palate cleanser for the next 5 days.
So that goes up Friday morning, but then things are going to get wild. So here's what you can expect in terms of content here on the YouTube channel and on the Patreon if you want to go see those exclusive things. On Saturday morning, the Ring of Honor boys will be dead tired from watching the Ring of Honor pay-per-view the night before on Friday the 5th, but our live watch-along and reaction edited version of the YouTube will go up on Saturday. And if you want to see us react to the whole entire thing, go subscribe to our Patreon. Then, this is going to be great. Later that evening, you will also get the edited version of the Stand and Deliver watch along without the footage. Goes to the Patreon for the full version of it. And then this is where it gets bonkers. So the morning of Sunday, April 7th, the NXT crew will be live stream reviewing NXT Stand and Deliver the day after. On Monday, April 8th, night 1 of WrestleMania will be covered. And then on Tuesday, April 9th, night 2 will be live stream reviewed. So what does that mean and who is going to be doing what? Well, I'm glad you asked. So it's no secret that there are a lot of you that like all of us, but there are some hosts that you might prefer over others.
I love how you skirted that. Good job, Mikey.
Look, I have gotten a lot of comments, not negative, but there's a lot of people that love you guys, and that's the whole point of putting this all together, is that the 8 of you guys are fantastic. Yes. But just to give you a rundown, here's who you can expect. So, on the Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor watch-along / review, because we're going to be doing that simultaneously, no other time to do a separate review for Supercard of Honor, you will see Andrew, JVL, Jesse, and myself. So the Ring of Honor boys will be doing that on Friday, and we're gonna have a good time. Then on Sunday morning, for the live stream review of NXT Stand and Deliver, it will be the NXT boys, Will, Andrew, myself, and we will be joined by Minnie, who is going to be hopping back into NXT, especially since he has slowly become a fan after I dragged him and our other friend to Stand and Deliver last year during WrestleMania weekend. Yep. It was a fantastic time. So the 4 of us will be doing that. On Monday, April 8th, for night 1 review of WrestleMania, you will find Minnie, the Professor, myself, and joining us full-time now, as I mentioned 2 weeks ago, Luis will be hopping onto the night 1 review of WrestleMania. So pretty much the Smackdown boys are going to be covering the night 1 stuff, which then leaves our night 2 boys of Minnie, JVL, Jesse, and me on tech reviewing night 2 of WrestleMania on Tuesday, April 9th. So we pretty much got every single boy on this panel to be reviewing one of the 3 WWE pay-per-views happening this upcoming weekend.
Man. Just when they thought we had too many, we have just enough.
Seriously, having 9 of us spread out onto all this whole weekend is fantastic. Wow. It's going to be super, which means, of course, outside of Raw, NXT, and Dynamite, the rest of the reviews will be going dark that week so we can focus on WrestleMania weekend. So that means no TNA review, no Ring of Honor review outside of the pay-per-view, no Rampage, no Collision, and no Smackdown review will be happening next week. But don't worry. When we think, oh, we don't gotta watch SmackDown, no, because we gotta be paying attention to what happens, because we're gonna be covering WrestleMania, which is gonna be a lot.
I mean, out of nowhere, I'm like, we made this joke. If you've been listening for a while, which some of you have, I don't know how many subscribers we have there that have been listening over the summer, and then previously it was sort of like, if this is 2 out of 10 minis back on the mini scale, we're not going to review this. And there was a time where we were getting close. And we've gone full circle, and now it's like, oh, I kind of want to watch it. Okay, so that's great. Yeah, I'm excited to see SmackDown. Normally, go home shows are hit or miss, right? And I'm really intrigued to see what they pull out of the hat.
Yeah, but that is going to be what you can expect this upcoming week. So we're going to be busy. And then we get like a week and a half of a rest, because then we hop back in because TNA's Rebellion and AEW's Dynasty are back-to-back on a weekend. TNA is on Saturday. Dynasty will be on Sunday. So it's going to be fantastic regardless. But Professor, we have come to the end. We got to get up on out of here.
We should.
So thank you so much for tuning in to another Smackdown Friday Night Faction review. We are super excited to see a bunch of you hopefully check out our WrestleMania stuff, because it's about to go buck wild. But until then, from myself, the Professor, Minnie, and Luis, our other Smackdown boys, this well as the rest of the BC WrestlePod crew. Remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay Biconic, and more important than anything, you deserve to finish your story. So until the next review, we'll see you later. And until then, ta-ta for now.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's gonna happen next time? Well, you're gonna have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.